They're huge. Who's this?
This is Mojo.
He's got a huge rat called Mojo in his arms.
Half of the patients in this institute are treated for cervical cancer.
But it's an entirely preventable disease.
It's literally a bunker. These are 6-foot thick cement walls, all to contain the radiation within this room.
You can't deal with the threat to human life unless you know it's there, and that means detection is one of the most important parts of any health professional's work. But here in East Africa, many of the most sophisticated diagnostic tools, from genetic testing to nuclear imaging, are simply too expensive. I'm Dr. Javed Abdelmunem in Tanzania, where scientists are busy turning local pests into a crack team of disease detectives. Africa's giant pouched rats have an exceptional sense of smell and a docile nature, which Ngusi Beene and his colleagues at the charity Opopo are harnessing to save lives. Look at these rats. They're huge. They even have names. So who's this?
This is Mojo.
He's got a huge rat called Mojo in his arms. OK, and this is a specially trained rat?
Yes.
Yeah.
Trained to do what?
Detecting landmines.
Detecting landmines. Every morning, the rats are taken to nearby training fields to practice sniffing out the explosive agent TNT in deactivated landmines. OK, are we actually in a minefield now?
Yeah.
OK, right. Wars have left many African countries littered with millions of landmines and unexploded bombs. Clearing them is notoriously dangerous, slow, and expensive. But Opopo's hero rats work 10 times faster than humans alone, are too light to set off the mines, and will work for peanuts, or in this case, bananas. In training, the rats scratch the ground where they think they smell a mine. If they're right, the handler makes a clicking sound, signalling that the rat can collect its reward. Since 2008, the rats trained here have cleared over 900 football fields worth of heavily mined land in neighbouring Mozambique.
But this is just the tip of the iceberg. We have another frontier which is making significant impact in the lives of people. I'm going to show you that in the office.
As they've done so well at sniffing out mines, the rats' exceptional noses are now being put to work on one of Africa's deadliest diseases. Hello. And what's this one called?
Vidic.
As in the footballer?
Yeah, football.
Are you going to send him into the landmine field?
No, this rat is trained for another purpose, detecting tuberculosis.
Tuberculosis is an infectious disease caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis. It kills around 1.4 million people every year and is transmitted in airborne droplets inhaled into the lungs where the bacteria multiply. Symptoms include chest pain, fever, and coughing up blood. Without treatment, up to 2/3 of sufferers will die.
But in countries like Tanzania, basic microscope techniques fail to detect over 40% of TB cases, and every untreated person can infect up to 15 others per year. So, just like the landmines, you're going to train these rats to smell TB?
In history, Hippocrates used smelling to detect some disease, so it's not something new.
Every week, sputum samples from 17 TB centres are sterilised for safety, then screened at Opopo's lab, which is the first in the world to use rats to diagnose disease. So these are real, actual tuberculosis sputum samples from local hospitals?
Yeah, these are sputum samples collected from suspected TB patients.
All the samples have already been tested in hospital, but outdated methods mean many TB cases are missed. Those that have been confirmed are left in to test the rat's accuracy, but only one technician in the room knows which is which.
For all birds, he knows the position of the positives.
But the two handlers...
These two, they don't know the position.
And the rat doesn't know either.
The rat doesn't know.
So that's what we call a proper double-blind test.
Now the rat is ready to sniff.
The technicians want to see whether the rats scratch over the confirmed cases and if they suspect any others. 7
Suspect.
8
Positive. So it indicated on the known positive and click followed by food.
Followed by food.
Yeah. And number 7, the rat indicated, but it was not positive from the TB center, so he said suspect.
So we don't yet know that it could be positive,
yes,
but the rat thinks it is.
Now 10 samples are already
just
finished.
Like that?
Yeah.
Wow. How long would that have taken a microscopist?
Well, WHO says a single technician can do 25 samples a day.
A day?
Yes.
25 samples a day. And this rat did 10 in...
10 samples in a minute.
That's 10-fold, 50-fold. I can't even do the maths. That's very much faster.
Yes.
And why is it so important to do it so much faster?
You have 5,000 inmates in a prison, and you want to check whether each prisoner has TB or not. If you want to check this with microscope, it takes the whole year.
Yeah.
But with the rat, for example, you can do it in just a few weeks.
The rats currently screen around 800 samples a week, and news of their work is spreading.
So I'm going to introduce you to Janet. Janet is a former TB patient.
Jambo, hello, how are you?
Niliumwa, alafu nikahangaika sana hospitali nyingi. Sikugundulika kama nina ugonjwa wa kifua. Basi nilivyosikia kwenye vyombo vya habari kuna popo, nikabidi niende, nikapima pale makozi, nikagundulika na kifua. Nikatibiwa, nikapona mpaka leo mzima.
Every week, the rats flag up dozens of samples missed by hospitals, which are then retested using Apopo's up-to-date methods.
So Emmanuel prepared these smears from the sputum samples that were indicated by the rats.
Yeah.
That means the suspects. So he's going to stain these smears.
So that sort of counter-staining acidification process makes sure that only the bacterium itself picks up the colour and everything else in the background will fade and decolour so that when you look at it under a microscope, it's very obvious.
So here is the microscope hero.
Hello. So yeah, we turn the light off, so we're in the dark because this is a fluorescent dye, and so the bacterium actually glow in the dark. So can I have a look?
Yeah, please.
Can I have a look? Right. Yeah, there's a lot. I wouldn't even have to count. That took me a split second to see that there's at least 200, 300 bacterium in that field. So that's really nice to see. The rats have got it right. You know, our rats, I think Astrid, she actually got a suspect case there that is actually positive, and that would have been missed with the ordinary diagnostic tools that we had in the community. So that's brilliant.
More than 2,600 patients were missed by the TB clinics, but found by the rats and confirmed here.
Since 2008, the rats have improved TB detection rates by 30%. And with 45 new clinics due to join the program next year, these extraordinary rodents are set to save thousands more lives.
Itakuwa ni kama ukumbusho, kwa sababu alinisaidia nikapona.
Over the past 50 years, Henrietta Lacks has made an unparalleled contribution to medical science. She's helped develop a polio vaccine and been pivotal in research into AIDS and the effects of radiation. However, Henrietta had no medical training and died in 1951 from cervical cancer, aged 31. When she contracted cancer, Henrietta was admitted to Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore, the only hospital in the area to treat black patients at the time. Samples of her tumour were sent to the Director of Tissue Culture Research, George Gay. Gay was already 30 years into his search for an immortal cell line with no luck. But when Henrietta's cells were put into a growth medium, they started reproducing, doubling in quantity every 24 hours. Regular human cells divide around 50 times before they die, but those in Henrietta's cell line go on dividing indefinitely. No one knows why. Although they are cancerous, her immortal cells share many traits with normal cells, making them ideal for medical research. Today, Henrietta's cell line is the most widely used in the study of human cellular biology and is known as HeLa. Some 20 tons of her cells have been grown since her death. As was accepted practice at the time, Henrietta was never asked for permission to use her cells in research.
Cervical cancer kills more than 250,000 women worldwide every year, and that's despite it being a preventable and treatable disease. 80% of those cases occur in the developing countries, where due to a lack of resources, the disease often goes undetected. I'm Dr. Louise Peeling, and I'm in El Salvador, where I'm going to see a new screening technique that could save thousands of lives all over the world.
Over 99% of cervical cancers are caused by the human papillomavirus, or HPV, which is contracted through sexual activity. There are more than 100 strains of HPV. In women, around 20 of these strains are known as high risk and are associated with the development of cervical cancer. Most of us are infected at some point in our lives, and it's usually cleared by the body's immune system, but a small percentage of women don't clear the infection. In a few of these women, the virus may lead to the development of cervical cancer. But if discovered early enough, the precancerous cervical lesions caused by the virus can be treated before they develop into full-blown cancer.
We're at the Cancer Institute of San Salvador to meet Dr. Maurizio Mazza.
Cervical cancer is the #1 cancer in the country. Half of the patients in this institute are treated for cervical cancer.
Wow. But it's an entirely preventable disease. It's one of the few cancers that we can actually prevent.
It is. Not everyone gets access to health care, especially in rural areas. Women can't afford transportation. Their mothers, they have big families, and it's really hard for them to leave that aside and go to other places. And there's all these cultural barriers that come with cervical cancer screening. Sometimes there's not enough support from the family, lack of knowledge, shame. So ideally, you know, we should be trying to get around 80% of the women when we're looking for screening, and we're around 20%.
Hola. Buenos días.
Buenos días.
Soy Doctora Luis.
Gracias.
Elena, did you have any screening before your diagnosis?
No, nunca. No. Me dijo el doctor, Dios que la socorra, me dijo.
Because you hadn't had screening before, why not? What stopped you from being able to get screening?
Antes no. Cuando yo crié a mis niños, mis hijos, nunca me dijeron que fuera. Hasta luego que ya bastante se declaró más eso. Pero ya cuando fui y me agarró esto ya era tarde. Y al borde de la muerte, pero bendito el Señor. Yo le debo promesa al Señor. No le dejé yo a nadie esa enfermedad que regó en todos los países. No respeta edad. Yo no he sufrido. No, pero mira. Sí, qué bonita es, ¿verdad? Qué bonita es ella. Hasta los ojitos.
Thank you, Magdalena. Good luck.
Ay, qué bonito, qué angelito que Dios me presentó. Vaya, hija.
El Salvador is implementing a product that could revolutionise HPV screening in developing countries. A partnership between El Salvador's Ministry of Health and a non-profit organisation called Basic Health International aims to screen 30,000 women by 2015 with a revolutionary product called Care HPV. This simple HPV testing kit, developed in China and the US, allows women to be sampled in rural settings. Eventually, the aim is for women to be able to self-test at home.
¿Cómo vamos a hacer la toma del proveedor? Que es la que yo voy a hacer. Si ustedes se fijan, la foto casi se parece a mí, la licenciada que está ahí, ¿verdad? Vale. Entonces, en este año inició un proyecto que hay una autotoma. No quiere decir que se van a tomar nada ni nada, sino que ustedes se la van a tomar, se la van a realizar. Voy a tener así como tapadito, ¿verdad? Y le voy a entregar el tubito y le voy a entregar el cepillito. Miren qué chiquitito es, chiquitito, ¿verdad? Girarlo de 3 a 5 veces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lo van a girar. Tiene que asegurarse que se meta cabal aquí donde está el líquido. Lo que van a hacer es quebrar lo que queda del plastiquito.
Cells from the women's cervix are run through the CARE HPV machine, which detects the presence of high-risk viral DNA.
Quieren conocer de cerca el cepillito, yo de dientes, pero sino que es un cepillito especial. No. El tubito tiene un líquido que es el que hay que tener cuidado.
We've actually heard of one lady who found it difficult even to get as far as here to receive her test. So we're going to be able to go to her home with the team and take the test to her, where she can self-test in her home. This will be one of the first times in El Salvador that the product has been used in a woman's home. But hopefully, this will become the norm.
Me lo va a entregar. No sé si puede hacerlo usted solita. ¿Sí?
Have you had screening before?
No.
No? Okay. What's made it difficult for you to get to the health clinic for screening?
Porque se me presentó una emergencia, ¿verdad? Con una tía, como le dije, le di un dolor que parece de cálculos en la vesícula, me tocó que llevarla y no pude asistir por eso.
And Claudia, what would you advise other women?
Que es necesario hacer por el bien de ellas, ¿verdad? Y que es fácil, no es de una gran cosa, ¿verdad?
All the tests from the day, including Claudia's, are taken to the local health centre, where the CARE HPV machine analyses the results. So, Maurizio, we've got our final results for this group of women.
Yes.
And what does it mean?
For women that are negative, that means that they don't have to come back for 5 years.
Okay.
Which that is great. And for the positive ones, you know, we can focus all our energies on ensuring that they get the proper treatment.
Before we've even got to the disease, we've got this group of women, the high risk, and we can follow them up and protect them.
Yes.
And this is DNA technology in the rural setting.
It's great to have this high-end technology. I could imagine this being in any health unit in the country.
Yeah.
We are definitely going to make a big impact on the burden of the disease.
The WHO has warned that poor quality anti-malaria drugs must be removed from circulation to prevent a drug-resistant strain of the disease spreading from hotspots in Southeast Asia. If the trend is not curbed, the popular drug artemisinin could become useless, leaving no effective treatment for the 219 million people infected globally each year. A new study suggests excessive crying or colic in at least some infants could be linked to migraines rather than digestive problems. Of among 200 children who received emergency treatment for migraines, 73% suffered from colic as infants, compared with 27% in the control group.
One of the challenges of treating cancer with radiotherapy is to accurately target the disease cells whilst doing as little damage as possible to the surrounding healthy tissue. I'm Dr. Elizabeth Healy in a very chilly Leeds in the UK to see how physics and medicine are coming together to create precision radiotherapy. Vivian, you're not a medical doctor, are you?
No, I'm a medical physicist.
Physicist? So why do we need physicists in an incredible cancer hospital like this one?
Well, the medical physicists are probably the best equipped at managing the use of radiation. We have a number of machines called linear accelerators, and these are used to target radiation to treat cancer patients as effectively as possible.
Aren't you cold?
I'm freezing. So we're now entering the linear accelerator bunker, and it's literally a bunker. These are 6 foot thick cement walls, We have this door here, which is a lead-lined door, all to contain the radiation within this room when we're using it for therapeutic purposes. This is the linear accelerator, and what we have is a source of electrons. These are accelerated, they're pumped along by microwave radiation. They'll hit a target, and then they'll fire out the radiation through the treatment head. Within the treatment head, we have shielding, and also a device called a multi-leaf collimator.
What's that?
It's 160 leaves that will shape the radiation beam to deliver the radiation to the patient.
So they're sort of like fingers that can be moved in and out, depending, to create a shape of the beam to match the shape of the tumour.
Exactly.
The beam itself is so intense that to show you how it works, we're having to film its reflection rather than directly, because if we did, it would blow our cameras.
These radiation-resistant tungsten leaves are central to the system. They continuously reshape the beam of high-energy X-rays to match the outline of the tumor. Because the beam is so finely targeted, less damage is done to the surrounding healthy tissue, which means higher doses of radiation can be used, reducing treatment times by weeks.
Christmas, 1945, I was told I had to go down the coal mines.
Today's patient is 86-year-old Alan Garnett. He was one of 48,000 men conscripted to work in British coal mines as part of the war effort. Alan has his own theory as to what caused the lung cancer he now suffers from.
What people don't realise down the mine, the stone dust is the thing that can cause problems.
How long were you down there for?
3 years and 2 months.
So you went in when you were 18?
Yes,
and
came out at 21. When I came out of the pit, I was brown. I wasn't black. It was just stone dust, which I think is more probable than the coal.
Radiographers use lasers which they align to tiny tattoos on Alan's body to ensure he is in precisely the right position for treatment. From the control room, they make minute adjustments by remotely moving the bed he is lying on.
Richard, can you tell me what we're seeing now on the screen? Because I can see 3 circles of different colours, and I can see the tumour moving up and down as Alan is breathing.
Yeah, the light blue circle is the internal target volume. This represents the motion of the tumour throughout the breathing cycle. The dark blue circle is the planning target volume. This represents where the dose is going to be delivered to, so we're happy as long as the tumour is contained within the planning target volume that it will receive the dose that's been prescribed.
So we have Alan Garnett, R8438 1126. So are we ready to go now? Yeah. Okay, happy with that?
So what we're seeing here now, we can sort of see a square shape.
That's the aperture, that's the treatment volume. So
the black area we can see is literally the beam.
Yes, that's it, yeah.
Okay, well done, Alan. Put your arms down now if you like.
Hi, Alan. How was that?
Excellent, lad. It doesn't need much imagination. I think you're laid here on a beach in the Mediterranean.
Okay, there, you can sit up there now.
Patients like Alan are coming from across the UK to Leeds to take advantage of this new treatment. And for Alan, having such state-of-the-art technology on his doorstep makes all the difference.
Being a Yorkshireman, born and bred, it must be great to have this facility in your own county.
It's absolutely fantastic. Everyone's told that this machine is absolutely unique and the treatment best in the world. I'm fortunate that the cancer is in the right place to be treated and treated with this machine. I'm damned lucky. Very lucky indeed.
So what we've seen today is that patients like Alan receiving traditional radiotherapy would get that treatment 5 days a week for up to 6 weeks. With this new technology, people like him can receive a much more effective dose in only 5 treatments.
Stick your hand in there and let him feed.
I can feel.
Excellent.
Did you realize these have especially sharp teeth?